on the
Okay. Antavantai me deha
Andavanda
nitya yuktasya sharina
Nitya
Nityasukha Saririnaha
anashino prameyasya
Anasino
Anasino
Prameyasya
Prameyasya
asmat yudyashva bharata.
Tasmat
Tasmad Vidyashva
Yudhyasvabharata.
Bharata.
Okay, do you read the word meaning or not?
No, we
Normally
don't.
we don't read.
Okay, so go ahead. I'll read the translation. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore fight, O descendant of Bharat. Purport. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely, but the spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. So from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation, because the living entity, as he is, cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time, or permanently protected. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires this material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. In the Vedanta Sutras, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the Supreme Light. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains the light of the soul maintains this material body. As soon as the spirit soul is out of this material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant. Arjuna was advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily considerations. So you can see here, Lord Krishna is giving arguments to Arjuna, because Arjuna didn't want to fight, and one of the reasons why he didn't want to fight was he said, well, compassion. He said, I should be compassionate. And he said, how can I be happy when I'm killing others? He was worried about sinful reactions, and he was worried, he said, I won't be able to enjoy because I'm killing the people who are my relatives and they're dear to me, my teacher, Drona, my grandfather, Bhishma. If I fight and kill them, I won't be happy. Like this, Arjuna was arguing that how can I fight? So many reasons why he didn't want to fight. So Lord Krishna has to respond to these different reasons. And one by one he answers. He counters the arguments or the reasons which were given by Arjuna. And Krishna defeats Arjuna's reasons. Just like here, you know, Arjuna was worried about, you know, killing the body of the people, but Lord Krishna points out the body's going to die anyway. No way you can avoid it. It's inevitable. We say as sure as death, and death is sure. And Prabhupada said the death rate in the world is the same it has always been, 100%. Everyone who takes birth is going to die. So this verse is saying, Antavanta eme deha nitya yokta shasharina. Right? Antavanta ameda. That what's in the body, that doesn't die. Within the body is the soul. The body's going to die, but the soul never dies. So Lord Krishna wants to bring Arjuna away from the bodily platform. Arjuna is very much worried about his relatives and he's in the bodily consciousness. So Lord Krishna wants to bring him to the transcendental consciousness. And he's telling him that the material body is going to die, but the soul never dies. So you should fight, be fixed in that consciousness. The souls who die on the battlefield, they will get a good birth because they're dying on the battlefield. It's a glorious death. Right? I don't want to speak too much. Are there any questions anybody has? Any comments? You can see Prabhupada said the body itself is unimportant. Oh my goodness, that's a difficult point for people to accept. We're so attached to the body, we give so much time, care for the body. But Prabhupada said the body is unimportant. The body is, it's just, as soon as the soul leaves the body, it's the dead body. The body cannot live without the soul. So it's the soul which is important, but common people, they have not understood this. They're in the bodily consciousness. So Prabhupada said Arjuna was advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily considerations. Right? Based on the body considerations, Arjuna didn't want to fight. That is not good. Arjuna is being encouraged, he should fight for the cause of religion, for the higher cause, the ultimate cause, for the pleasure of the Supreme. So we have to understand also this war is not like the wars which are being fought today in the Kali Yuga. One country in another, one army in another, fighting like that, killing each other. The wars today are very much on the bodily platform. But Arjuna, at this battle of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna wants it should be a dharma yudh. It should be fought. It should be on the higher platform. It shouldn't be based on the body. It's for the pleasure of the soul. And the soul gets pleasure by serving Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, good evening and my obeisances to you. I have a question.
Yes?
Yes. And the question is, how do we tell ourselves that we are acting in Krishna consciousness or acting based on the body, or rather the material considerations. How can we, in our conditioned state, tell the difference between acting in Krishna consciousness and acting in material or bodily consciousness? Thanks.
Well, we have to take guidance from the sadhus and the shastra and the spiritual teacher. Sadhu, shastra, and guru are there. They are our authorities, and they can guide us. What is material and what is spiritual? They can always guide us, bring us to work on the higher platform for the pleasure of Krishna, not for our own pleasure. So hearing from the spiritual authorities is very important. You know, they will tell us clearly what is spiritual and what is... Just like here, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna. Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that you're thinking about the body. That's not proper. You have to fight for the cause of religion, not for the material body, for the higher purpose. The real cause of religion, what is the real cause of religion? To surrender to Krishna, to serve Krishna, to please Krishna. That is the real cause of religion. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj, thanks.
So much, I think we are good. We can move on to the next verse if you're comfortable.
Okay. Okay, going on to text 19. Yainam veti hantaram
Yanam Veti Hantara
yaschainam manyate hatam
Yastainam Mayate Hatam
ubhau tau na vijanito
Ubhautau Navijanito
nayam hanti nahanyate.
Nayam Hanti
Ayate.
Translation. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not, nor is slain. Purport. When an embodied living entity is hurt by fatal weapons, it is to be known that the living entity within the body is not killed. The spirit soul is so small that it is impossible to kill him by any material weapon, as well as will be evident from subsequent verses. Nor is the living entity killable because of his spiritual constitution. What is killed, or is supposed to be killed, is the body only. This, however, does not at all encourage killing of the body. The Vedic injunction is Mahimsyat Sarva Bhutani. Never commit violence to anyone. Nor does understanding that the living entity is not killed encourage animal slaughter. Killing the body of anyone without authority is abominable and is punishable by the law of the state, as well as by the law of the Lord. Arjuna, however, is being engaged in killing for the principle of religion and not whimsically. Okay, so this an interesting point is being brought up here. Because someone may say, well, the living entities never killed, and the person who kills them, he didn't do it. The person who killed someone else, he didn't really kill someone. It was all it's all done, but it's not done by the living entity, it's done by the material nature. So we may say, oh well, I never did anything, I'm not guilty. Right? If you have a fight with someone, you kill someone, you go to court, you're put in the court and you're charged with murder. You could say, I never killed anybody. I'm a spirit soul, and I didn't kill him. He's a spirit soul. But still, the court will punish you, because we're not supposed to do violence to anyone, to any living entity. We should not be violent. Right? We have the nice pastimes about Magrari the hunter, that before he was killing animals, and Narada Muni came to him and told him, you know, you're going to suffer for killing all these animals. And he convinced Magrari to stop killing animals and to start chanting the Mahamantra. And after he'd been chanting the Mahamantra for some time, then Magrari didn't even want to step on insects. He became so changed that he wouldn't walk on insects, because he didn't want to do any harm to the insects. So that is actually the mood of the devotee. So we may say, well, what about Arjuna? He's going to fight in the battle and he killed so many people. But he didn't do it for his own sense. He didn't do it whimsically. He didn't do it just for his own pleasure, but he did it because the Lord Krishna was telling him to do it. He did it as a service for Lord Krishna. He was detached from the results. We can see Arjuna, he didn't want to fight. He's thinking, even in the beginning, he thought, I don't think I should fight. But Krishna arranged to bring these other ladies who would do something, who would help. So people may try to argue like that I never killed anybody and I didn't. But if you do any harm to anyone, then it's a crime and you can be punished. So we do want to be careful. We don't like even to kill bed bugs. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it said there's a special hell for people who kill insects, who kill bed bugs and so on. And when you get a lot of mosquitoes, you should be careful. You can't just go around and kill them all. You have to get rid of them. So killing is not the business of a devotee. That's an important thing to remember. Be careful. All right? Okay, now text number 20, a famous verse. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin
Najayate Mriyate
Nayam Budva Bhavitava Nabuya.
Ayam Bhutva Bhavita Bhuya.
Ajo Nitya Shashvato Yam Purano.
Ajodhya
Saswato Yam Purano.
Nahanyate Hanyamane Sharire.
Nahanyate
Nahanyate
Hanyamani
Hanyamane
Sarire.
Sarire.
Okay, it's a good verse to know. You want to try to remember some of these verses. They're very powerful to be used in preaching. Right? So Lord Krishna is saying, right? And what is Lord Krishna saying up here? For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Qualitatively, the small atomic fragmental part of the spirit soul is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady or kutastha. The body is subject to 6 kinds of transformation. Right? This is true all bodies, not only human bodies, but all different bodies. They undergo these different kinds of transformations. So they're described. It takes birth from the womb of the mother's body. Of course, not every living entity takes birth from the womb of the mother's body. Some living entities, they will come maybe in the form of eggs, or they may be sent, but they live. So, the living entity can come like from an egg. Sometimes they come from perspiration. Living entities are born from the perspiration from a body. And some living entities like plants and so on, they're germinated from other plants or seeds. So the living entity, the human form, we take birth from the womb of the mother's body. And then we remain, the living entity takes birth, it will remain for some time, and then it grows, produces some effects. Like some effects means you may have offspring, you may have children, and then gradually diminish, dwindles, and at last vanishes into the oblivion. In other words, completely forgotten, completely lost. So the soul, however, does not go through such changes. Right? What is changing is only the body. The soul doesn't go through any change. The soul is kutastha. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death. And because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. Hare Krishna, what is going on? Who is showing the text and then taking it away?
Hare Krishna is supposed to be Yasodamai Mataji doing the hosting. I think she might be
I don't
experiencing.
know. I don't know why it's like that. I try again.
You try again to share the text.
Don't know why it's lost.
Well, I have my own text. I could read my own text, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
This is
2020, is it? I don't know why it's disappeared.
$2.20, yeah?
Yes, 220 is the.
You want me to share the screen? Can we share the screen?
Yeah. I think Guru Maharaj is here. Can you see now?
Cannot see Mataji.
Oh.
Cannot see Mataji. Because I can't share screen also to this time here. Yes, can see already.
Sorry about that.
Okay, anything which has birth also has death. And because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old as the body does. The so-called old man, therefore, feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproducts of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls. And owing to the body, they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor changes. Therefore, the soul is free from the changes of the body. All right, let's talk about this before we go on. So, Srila Prabhupada is bringing out the difference between the body and the soul. This whole section in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is to bring out the difference between the body and the soul. Lord Krishna wants Arjuna and all of us to be very clear about what is the difference between the body and the soul. So, Prabhupada describes many of the qualities of the soul, that the soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. So trees, you know, they're also growing, and at one point they will also grow old and so on. So the body, people, of course, they identify the body, this is my child. The parents will say, this is our child. So the body is there, but the body is just a covering of the soul. And it's the soul which gives the body. It's not really the parents, but it's the soul. Because the soul is there, therefore the body is maintained. And as soon as the soul goes, then the body is finished. So the body goes through all the different changes because it's material. But the soul doesn't change. The soul doesn't take birth and it doesn't die. So we want to understand this very clearly and fix ourselves in this consciousness. What is the difference between the body and the soul? The soul is a living force which connects us to Krishna, Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada said, the soul has no past, present or future. So we may be puzzled by that. It's a bit puzzling to understand. So because we think of, well, in the past, you know, we had in the past we had different bodies and we were in different places, different situations. So isn't there a past for the soul? But Prabhupada said, no. No past, no present, no future. In other words, the soul is completely transcendental to all of these things. We remember the past and we have plans for the future, but the soul is eternal. The soul just wants to be situated in our eternal service to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada always liked to bring people out of the bodily consciousness. And a lot of people, they would often come to Prabhupada and they would ask him, how old are you, Swamiji? And Prabhupada would tell them, I am the same age as you. And he would tell them, I am a soul and you are also a soul. So when people would ask mundane questions like, how old are you? Prabhupada would use it to give them some Krishna consciousness, to explain to them the nature of the soul. So this is the very basic point of the Krishna conscious philosophy. But it's very, very important. And it's very difficult for us to grasp. Because we're so attached, we're so conditioned to enjoying the body. Okay, everybody agree?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, I want to ask you, why do you think that we were not designed to remember our past? I mean, why can't we remember any of our past? We may be an we may be a very old soul, has taken birth so many times. Why do you think that we don't remember our past lives?
Well, there are different reasons suggested. One is that at the time of birth, you forget everything because you're coming through such a traumatic experience. You know, it's very tense time. The living entity is coming out of the mother's womb and taking his birth into the environment. And just coming out from the womb, it's such a frightening experience that you forget everything. So it could be due to that, and it could also be that Krishna doesn't want us to remember the past, or we don't want to remember the past, because we're so much absorbed in the now, trying to enjoy everything now. We don't like to think about the past. If we had to understand that in the past we had suffered so much, then yeah, it could make a big difference to how we live and how we practice Krishna consciousness now. But Lord Krishna, he doesn't let everybody know, but intelligent people, they know. Intelligent people can understand. We must have had some kind of birth in our previous life. There must have been something which is the cause of our birth today. The body which we have now is the result of our past actions, right? We get the reactions. What do we say? Zhong do de do, zhong gua de gua. All right, you plant seeds, you get, if you plant the seeds of melons, you will harvest melons. And if you plant the seeds of beans, you will harvest beans. So we have to understand the law of karma, the law of the material energy. And that is what causes us to take the other body. We move on. The super soul can arrange to take away our memories so that we can enjoy more this life. Because if we have to think that, oh, in the past I was, we could feel so bad about our past life. And we could feel so much worried about our future life. And we wouldn't be able to enjoy this life. So Super Soul arranges for us that we don't remember anything. And we just think about enjoying now. But now I'm in this body, I want to enjoy. So Krishna arranges for that. But if we had to remember everything, we wouldn't be able to enjoy the same. Yeah?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. So I can forget about some part of my life even in this body as well, right? Since we
Yes.
are always changing anyway.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
can
Even
forget
this
about
life.
my old friends who are not willing to join Krishna consciousness.
Yes. Yeah, you can forget about them. It's true.
Interesting.
Krishna arranges everything according to our desire. What do we want? Of course, you remember people who are near and dear to you. You remember your parents. You remember your children. Not very easy to forget these things. So anyone who thinks about life, and then they want to know, how did I get here? How did I get put into this particular situation? What was I doing? What must I have been doing in my past that has put me into this situation now? You can understand somebody was a good person, somebody was a rascal. So everyone gets the results of their past. Of course, common people, they don't like to accept this. If you try to speak about this in public, then people will get angry. They don't like it. One time, some years ago now, that the manager of the England football team, he was asked about why people are suffering, and he simply said, well, it's due to their karma. And because he said that, so many people got so upset, they got so angry at him, and they forced him to resign and to give up his job, because people don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear that there is such a thing as the law of karma. They don't like to think that they're bad people. Everyone likes to think, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I never do anything bad. I'm a good person. Everybody's thinking like that. I didn't do anything bad. I'm a good guy. Of course, it's not true. We've all done a lot of things, a lot of bad things. And that's why we're here in the material world. The good people are not here. They're back to Godhead. We're all the bad people. But people don't like to think, oh, I'm bad. Oh, no. Everyone thinks, I'm a good person. I'm good. I never did it. Just like, if you're guilty, if you're taken to court, you may be taken to court, maybe the court of Yamaraj. The other civil court could also be the country, your court of law, justice in your own country could be there. And we may deny, no, I didn't do any crime. No, I'm a good person. But the super soul was the witness. The super soul sees everything, remembers everything. We don't remember. We like to forget. Okay. We'll try.
Maharaj,
Yeah.
one question. Please accept my humble obeisances. Lord Sister Papa. I was just thinking that theoretically that it's easy for us to accept that we are the soul and not the body, but to actually understand it in the sense that we are we are going to, some are working, some are doing all different types of jobs and taking care of family. How could they actually can understand in the deeper level they are a soul and not the body? Because there are a lot of distractions in life and all that too. So what do you suggest, that Maharaj?
Well, Prabhupada would give simple examples. He would say, my hand, my head, my leg, my body. Who is the proprietor of these things? You say in other words, it's mine, it belongs to me. So who is that me? Who is that person who is owning everything? We say my body, my head, my legs, my feet. So who is the actual proprietor, the person who owns everything? That is the soul. It's the soul which is there within the body. We said, and when somebody dies, we see the body's there, and we will say, "Oh, he's gone." We'll say he's gone to Golok. Now he's gone to Goloka. We hope. So they've gone. What's gone? The body is still there. So we have to understand. Yeah, there's a difference between the body and the soul. And we are all souls. Every living entity is a soul. The dogs, the cats, the trees, the birds, they all have a soul. Because that's how life comes into these living entities. You don't get life without the soul. It's the soul which brings consciousness into the body. So people need to hear. They need to hear this again and again. They have to be reminded. If they hear it often enough, then they'll gradually start to accept it. This is the business of our Krishna consciousness movement, to let people hear, to let them hear and let them be reminded about the nature of the soul and the difference between the body and the soul. Bhagavad Gita said, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, out of thousands among men, hardly one is endeavoring for perfection. Why? Because people don't hear. They're never educated, they're never taught the basic knowledge, the difference between the body and the soul. Right?
Thanks,
We'll
Maharaj.
go ahead to finish this purport. In Katha Upanishad, we also find a similar passage which reads, Najayate mriyate va vipaschin, nayam kutaschin na babuva kaschit, ajo nityashasvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The meaning and purport of this verse is the same as in the Bhagavad Gita, but here in this verse there is one special word, vipaschit, which means learned or with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to clouds or for some other reason, but the light of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is therefore daytime. As soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. This consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the Supreme, because the Supreme Consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teaching of Bhagavad Gita would be useless. There are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anu Atma, and the super soul, Vibhu Atma. This is also confirmed in the Kasha Upanishad in this way. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan atmasya jantor nihito guhayam tam akratu pashyati vita shoko Yatu prasadan mahimanam atmana. Both the super soul, Paramatma, and the atomic soul, Jivatma, are situated on the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living being, and only one who has become free from all material desires as well as lamentations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul also, as it will be disclosed in the following chapters. And Arjuna is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore, he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representatives, the spiritual master. All right, so Prabhupada is making the same point we've been making tonight, that you want to understand the material world, this material place, you have to take the courses which we have, the ISKCON Disciple course, very important for everyone. Please attend the ISKCON Disciple course and hear all the basic points of the philosophy of our Krishna consciousness movement. And we have to understand also, hearing from Krishna's representative, particularly the spiritual master. Of course, spiritual master can be Diksha, can also be Shiksha. But you have to hear from the senior Vaishnavas. And they will help you, they will help us. They can guide us. They can fix us on the path to knowing the truth. The problem is the anarthas. Because of anarthas, our devotional service is unsteady.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
We're learning.
Maharaj, Maharaj, I don't think we have been introduced to the word anarthas yet. What is anarthas?
Oh, anartha. Well, anartha means the things of value, and anartha means things which have no value. That means the bad qualities, the inauspicious things which are there in the heart. Anarthas. Yes. One of the stages in bhakti yoga is anartha nivritti, removing the dirty things from the heart. Things which are in the heart are things like lust and anger and greed and illusion and envy and all of these different kinds of qualities. You know, we can have a lot of these things in our heart, and we have to try to get them out from our heart. And how to get them out from the heart? By bhakti yoga, by hearing and chanting. The more we chant the holy name, the more we associate with Lord Krishna, the more we get rid of the dirty things from the heart. So we're hearing tonight, there are two souls in the heart, not one. There are two souls. There's the Param Atma and the Jiva Atma. So the Jiva Atma, we know about our own body. We know about our own pains and pleasures. But the Paramatma knows about every living entity's pains and pleasures. Just like the landlord knows about all of his different properties. We may only rent one house from the landlord, but the landlord may have many properties. So he will know about all of his houses, how he's giving them for the service of devotees. All right? So we have to understand, like, the Lord is there in the heart. And it's described, the body is like the tree, and the two souls are like two birds sitting on the tree. One bird is eating the fruit, and the other bird is watching. So sometimes we eat the fruit, sometimes the fruit is nice, and other times it's not so nice. So that's the nature. What we need to do is surrender to the super soul. We have to be guided by the super soul. And we learn to be guided how to surrender to the super soul with the help of the spiritual master. All right? Prabhupada writes at the end of the purport, we have to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. So the spiritual master can help to keep us. So these are some important points here tonight. And how do we recognize the soul within the body? We recognize the soul by the presence of consciousness. Consciousness will be there. Just like sunlight indicates the presence of the sun. Although the sun may not be visible, the same way the soul, we cannot see it, but we can see the symptom of the soul because we see consciousness. And there are different levels of consciousness. Some people are very highly conscious and some people are very low conscious, not very conscious. A consciousness can be suppressed, can be just like we go to sleep. So you may say, well, we go to sleep not conscious, but still we're there. Although we're in a sleeping condition, the mind is still active and we're remembering so many things.
Maharaj, I have a question.
Okay.
Yes. The teaching about the soul living with soul consciousness, it makes me feel like I am in primary school, primary 1, and there I'm told that I need to go to university at primary 1 level. So the gap is almost unimaginable for me because I still feel very far, I still feel very fallen short of being soul consciousness. So is this the question? Is this normal, Maharaj? And does living with soul consciousness, does that happen only at the highest stage of bhakti, which prima bhakti, or can that state of soul consciousness, living with soul consciousness or Krishna consciousness, really happen? Because like I said, I'm now like feel that I'm in primary 1, and I'm listening to the teacher talk about going to university, getting a degree, getting a master's, PhD, etc. So I feel like it's really falling short of this reaching that soul consciousness level. So is this normal, and does it only happen in prema bhakti, the highest stage of bhakti? Thanks, Maharaj.
Yes. Yeah, it's actually a fact that the ultimate consciousness comes, the prema bhakti. That's it. But, well, consciousness it's not so, prema bhakti is not so much concerned with consciousness, but prema bhakti indicates the emotion and the love and the affection which we have for Lord Krishna.
Mm. Mm.
Bhakti is it's an emotional exchange between the Lord and his devotees. Consciousness is that's just something which is there. You know, consciousness, it can be covered consciousness, it can, but we could think of consciousness as just something like, you know, the dog has consciousness, right? The dog has consciousness, just like when the food is there. When you come home and you're going to serve the dog and give the food, the dog is conscious. And the dog is conscious that some stranger is coming. The dog will bark. The dog is conscious that this is a stranger. So he has consciousness. But the consciousness, of course, is restricted by the body. And trees also have consciousness. The trees also, they have their own consciousness and they grow. But again, their consciousness is greatly covered by the body. But it can be awakened, that consciousness can be fully awakened by the devotees. Just like Lord Chaitanya could come and he could have all the wild animals all singing and dancing and embracing each other. Lord Chaitanya gave the animals prema. You know, that's very special. We cannot imitate anything like that. So consciousness is often suppressed. Although people feel something is wrong, they don't speak out, they keep it hidden. They don't like to speak out. They don't want to admit something is not good or wrong, they just keep quiet. Well, sometimes that's good, sometimes we have to do that. Example is very important. If we cannot give instruction, at least we can give the example, our own example, to help to make people more aware. Because consciousness is a type of awareness. In the Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada talks about, in the preface of the Nectar of Instruction, he said, everything depends on the attitude of the disciple. So attitude is another consciousness. The symptom of consciousness is shown by the attitude. Someone is very caring and concerned, and someone's indifferent, they don't care anything. It's different consciousness. So this consciousness is developed over different lifetimes and different association, different places.
Yes, thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, is there any other questions here tonight? I think that's a good place to stop. We covered about 4 or 5 verses, right? Anyway, next week you can go on to text 21.
We covered 3 verses tonight, Maharaj.
Oh, did we? Oh, okay.
Yes. 18, 19, and 20.
Okay.
Hema Krishna Prabhu, what do you think?
let Maharaj rest, I think, better,
Okay.
because it's quite late already, and Maharaj had taken a long flight from the Middle East.
And tomorrow is a big program.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Thank you
Okay.
very much to
Okay.
Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prabhus. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Prabhu Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Krishna Maharaj ki jai.
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 Thank you. Very nice class by Maharaj. And we continue again next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji. Hare
you,
Krishna.
Babu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you.